Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. My name is James, aka The Architect, and with me, as always, is Skull Hunter Games, aka Jordan, aka Needle P2 Electric Boogaloo.
I want to take that as an insult, I really do, but I kind of like it. But joining us is somehow brought back from the dead again. We got Joseph, everybody. We're back.
Yeah, so Joseph, I want to say welcome back from the dead.
Again.
It's,
Hey guys.
Yeah.
That electric
Seems to be
boogaloo really works wonders in my on my nervous system.
Well,
don't worry,
always,
Joseph's hyped up on G Fuel, so he can never actually die.
Hey, that's how. Wait, do you drink G Fuel? G Fuel?
No, I don't. I'd rather drink pure lead.
Okay, what is G Fuel? I don't even know.
Pure
like,
lead. It's
pure lead,
pure
okay.
lead.
That's pretty much all it is.
It's pure lead but flavored.
I'm pretty sure Activision sent me a few emails about it. Like when the leaks were going on, like they were sponsoring. Mountain Dew was like sponsoring them with the G Fuel stuff. Is that right? Is that accurate? G Fuel is.
I don't. That well, Mountain Dew has their
Mountain
own.
Dew, yeah.
Mountain Dew has their own thing, and then G Fuel's its own separate entity. There were some issues because they actually found like dangerous chemicals in G Fuel. Allegedly, they found chemicals in G Fuel that was not good for you. And so that's why, like, if you watch ESL for Counter-Strike or the Call of Duty World Leagues and Overwatch League and all that, they're sponsored by Game Fuel now by Mountain Dew instead of G Fuel.
Okay.
Which is, I think G Fuel is short for Gamer Fuel, so it's just kind of funny how that worked out.
I guess that's what they were targeting.
You know what else worked out, though?
What?
So, if you guys remember, a couple weeks ago, we had discussed modding in the gaming community and why modders are so important and how modders can help. Well, last time we talked about that, a specific modder in the GTA community came up with a fix to a problem causing long load times in GTA Online. And instead of ignoring the guy, telling him to pound salt, telling him to lick rocks, he actually got accredited and compensated for the fix, and GTA will be implementing that fix in the very near future in the next update, which means loading time should decrease across all platforms very soon. This is wonderful news, great news for the modding community, great news for the GTA Online community finally getting their voices heard. And this is just great all around because this could open the door to other games finally listening to the modding community or just the community in general to fix major things. What do you guys, how say you?
I think it's great news as well, just for the power of social awareness. This post went viral, and there's no way it's not going to fall into the hands of a Rockstar developer or two. And I don't know. I'm starting to believe in the most wholesome version of this as possible, which is the people at Rockstar just couldn't figure it out, and this person had a unique talent for it and put his talents to good use.
I got nothing. I'm not into a lot of I don't know why. The first story, I really always have nothing to bring to the party.
It's like a warm-up story.
Oh, okay. So I get it.
It was supposed to be a softball, like an easy pitch.
Speaking of softball, maybe you have some stuff you wanted to. Never mind.
What? We will get to that later, my friend. We'll get to that later.
Now. But real fast, while we're talking about mods.
See ya, fourth wall.
Yeah,
What's
bye. While we're talking about mods, did you guys hear about the modder for Skyrim coming back after like so many years?
No, I didn't hear anything about this.
So there is a modder for Skyrim. My brother-in-law told me about this. He was big in the community. He was around, and all of a sudden he's just kind of vanished. And then he just recently appeared again, and apparently it's like doing a lot with Skyrim, and they're doing more DLCs and stuff for Skyrim on console and PCs. So Skyrim's about to get a big upgrade and stuff like that.
You better not be the one to put the monocle on the hat on the crabs.
I'm not into Skyrim as much, or I haven't played it in a long while, but I mean, It was in the modding side, so I was supposed to put something into the story. Here I go. Also, tip to the audience: the last few weeks I was so good at preparing for the podcast. I know nothing. Let's hope there's not. Let's hope they're not one of those prices where it's like high or low. James learns his lesson from that already.
Oh yeah, I quit putting those in Discord weeks ago.
I wanted to be right.
Nobody here has enough of a grasp in economics to get this.
We've been doing this podcast for almost 6 months, and it took Jordan 5 months to figure out I was putting all the numbers in the Discord. And
because I looked.
So for the past month, I haven't.
I was so like I was gonna go like big brained, and I was like, I'm gonna look at these numbers. I'm gonna sit there, and for one time, over or under, I will get it right. And I was right.
Yeah, then I disqualified you for cheating.
Well, okay, Dad. Oh, but now let's get back on track.
So,
not quite. Brief shout out to my favorite Skyrim mod, the swearing mud crabs. I'm not going to say the F, but I have very, very few mods got past my threshold. But that one was a slam dunk. You get into a fight with the mud crab. The mud crabs go, God, every damn it, mother.
That's awesome.
My favorite. I played a lot of Skyrim when it first couple years it came out. Obviously, I like a lot of people have. There was a couple mods I liked. There was a mod that turned all the dragons into Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yes. Yeah. I saw the video for that one.
Yeah, I've seen things on that. That's awesome.
Because they show the introduction in when the character is being introduced, and that's the first dragon attack. Yeah.
So that was great. And then one I didn't personally use, but one I saw was that you can spawn animals to help you, like dragons, horses, dogs, whatever, right? You can spawn them, but they're all typed Tommy Wiseau from The Room. I did not hit her. I did not. It was perfect. It was great. Great mod. Whoever did that one, my hat's off to you. You know who my hats aren't off to?
Uh-oh. Who?
Google Stadia. Now, Google Stadia has been long dead. And right now, it just seems like we're punching down at this point. But, all right.
Not Google.
Yeah, not Google, but Stadia. Jordan said, all right, I'm going to head out.
No, this was still up from Halloween, and I had to take it down. It's a little caution tape thing. I kept seeing it in my cam, and it was bugging me.
I'm glad that we were on the call before recording for about 20 minutes, and you waited 15 minutes into recording to take care of it. Thank you for that.
I wasn't looking at myself. What's up,
Thank
beautiful?
you, Based Jordan, for that.
Let's talk about Google Stadia.
So Stadia has recently said bye-bye. They said Stadia said, "I'm gonna head out," and so they did, and that's why we over at the Skull Hunter podcast are absolutely excited. Skull Hunter Games, aka Jordan, takes 100% credit for shutting down Stadia, and it was all him, and he is the one. He is the one who's been the manufacturer of all the Google hate and all that. And so I just want to say I'm kind of neutral, but hey, Jordan, congrats. You won this war. How's it going? Keep it moving. Google Stadia has a special set of games that can only be fundamentally used through Stadia. Well, that's what they were telling people, and that's what we thought. Because now with Google Stadia gone, one of the most popular games that you could only get on Google Stadia was Super Bomberman R Online. Super Bomberman, by the way, one of my favorite games I've ever played. It's one of the games that came on my Xbox 360 when I got it day one, when I was like 11 or 12 or whatever. So fun game, but they had a new version for Google Stadia. Well, now that in the next coming weeks should be coming to other platforms.
Ooh.
Which is funny because a Stadia rep was known for going on interviews and saying this. And said this game is only possible on Stadia because of the way the engineering worked, and it could not ever, on a fundamental level, come out elsewhere. So I
Right.
love that instead of explaining why, he just said at an engineering or the way it's engineered. So he doesn't explain anything other than that, just the way it's engineered. That is that is simply code for saying, I don't know how, and I'm probably talking out my butt, but if I say this word, you won't question me.
I mean, who's questioning them?
Well, they're gone now, so no one's questioning them.
Of all the games to go for such a bluff with, Bomberman is great, but I've never thought of Bomberman as a system seller.
Nah.
No, you're right. It's one of those games that's like, you've played your games, but you really don't have anything else to do, so you just grab, whoever's by there is like, hey, you want to play some Bomberman? And most likely your friend will be like, what's Bomberman? And then you play it, and then
You're like, it's for
good-
the poor
good time.
kids.
Yeah.
Just go up to them like, hey, it's for the poor kids. Come on by my street.
Yeah, I will say, as we've been talking about this, I did log on to stadia.google.com/games just to see like what would happen if I visited the site. Site's still up. Looks like they still want to take people's money.
Well, yeah. So they shut down their internal office. I think they are supporting until August. I heard.
Oh, they're
That
trying
date
to
could be
stretch the
wrong.
thing out.
Yeah, don't fact check me on that. But it should. It's closing down sometime completely, but they've shut down the internal office. Speaking of Google Stadia internal office, so one of the head developers over there, Jade Raymond, she had left well before Google Stadia actually shut down. Well, she left because she decided to start her own game development studio in Montreal called Haven, and they recently signed a contract with PlayStation to create an original new IP or intellectual property for PlayStation. So PlayStation's known for their IPs. I mean, we're talking Crash, we're talking Uncharted series, we're talking Last of Us 2, we're talking now the new Spider-Man games. We're talking they God of War. They're known for their IPs. Mm-hmm. They're known for their great single player IPs. So this could be interesting. The fact that they're hiring a new development studio to add into their umbrella of IPs. I'm excited to see what it is. I'm excited to see what comes out.
Yeah, they're also not like the most protective out of everybody compared to Nintendo. I mean, Sony, they do give they don't really give away their IP freely, but it's you can kind of expect Sony games, they may show up elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, there's no sign, there's no word about what kind of game it's going to be, what it's going to be about. There's nothing, because this development studio literally just opened, and they're just started developing the game. Game development takes years, so we're not going to know about this for a while down the road, at least. But it's still exciting to see that PlayStation's willing to add work to other game development studios and see what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I would say they're doing it selflessly, but let's be honest. They want the green. Yeah. They want the possible money out of it.
So, we have a couple things left. We have one story that's kind of a downer.
Yeah.
And then we have a conversation piece.
Okay.
I'll let you guys decide which one you want to do first.
The downer.
Yeah.
Downer piece.
Get the depressing stuff out of the way so we get the excitement at the end.
All right.
Is somebody neighbors with a train, by the way?
Yeah, I actually live in a train. I'm actually the boxcar. I'm actually the boxcar kid. So.
Your real name is Little Thomas. You'll get it.
Anywho,
I get
Thomas the Tank Engine. Skyrim. That was another great mod where Thomas the Tank Engine was the dragon. So, downer news story.
Okay.
Riot CEO. His name is Nicolo Laurent. If I'm mispronouncing that, I am sorry. he allegedly was trying to think. He trying to think of the word here. I can't think of it. Trying to think of the legal mumbo jumbo. Anyway, he was accused of sexual harassment and other things of that nature towards a former employee, Sharon O'Donnell. Well, Riot Games did their own independent investigation on this whole matter, and they found the CEO, Nicola Laurent. Basically, they said he did nothing wrong. He said this didn't exist. I have to say allegedly because, yeah, he could be an innocent man. I mean, in America, it is innocent until proven guilty.
Mm-hmm.
That is how it works. But also, if we're being realist here, Riot Games basically just said, "Yeah, we're cool. Nothing happened here." Like, so it's, you know what I mean? It'd be like if I stabbed someone right here on camera and then I told you guys, "No, it wasn't me." Like, yeah, okay. But like I said, innocent until proven guilty. I have to make sure I say that out there. I don't want to get caught in like a weird situation there. But Riot Games did file a countersuit towards the former employee, Sharon O'Donnell, for allegedly witness tampering, harassment, and threatening behavior. So, in the request for a countersuit, Riot Games claims O'Donnell offered an individual compensation for testifying on her behalf and encouraged others to file a lawsuit against the CEO, Laurent, so they could personally benefit, according to the document. O'Donnell's legal counsel, Michael F. Baltax, said that he was unaware of these claims. None of what is said in the paperwork filed by Riot Games and Nicola Laurent this morning is true, and they will be filing a response in court. So, from the sounds of it, you have a former employee and a CEO going back and forth with legal mumbo jumbo. They're both firing accusations at each other.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, with stuff like this, it gets messy, and we might not know what's true until one party decides to settle or one party comes out and tells the truth. Or maybe they're both telling the truth. Who knows? Like I said, everyone's innocent until proven guilty, so we don't know what's going on. But this could be harmful, because this year is supposed to be a huge year for Riot Games.
Mm-hmm.
They have so many games coming out. They have so many games recently come out, or they've updated and they're ready to basically bestow upon us. This would be a bad time for something bad like this to happen, because we saw it with Blizzard. What was it, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, with the whole when Stand with Hong Kong was a big thing, and Blizzard basically was like, they were made silent. They refused to. They refused to remain silent on, or they remained silent on not, and then they said something else, like in support of something else, and so everyone kind of got the message, like, okay, obviously China is lining these guys' wallets, and it hurt them. Overwatch at that point died. Yeah, there's still some people playing it. Yeah, you're still gonna find a community, but for the most part, not too many people have nice things to say about Overwatch. And now they're finally getting the hype back with Overwatch 2. We'll see where that goes. But Riot Games is now being put in a situation where they have all this stuff coming out, and they need as much hype as they can get, and next thing you know, now they just hit a dead end. Do you see this coming out any way good for anyone?
No. Just anytime a big business gets any kind of news in that category, it's never good for the business. It's never good for the publicity. That side is never good. So this is gonna hurt Riot Games. I mean, I really, even if it turns out all of it, everything's good, nothing bad happened in a sense, it's not gonna be good, because once you have that label on you, people are gonna know, oh yeah, there was that issue with this company beforehand. I mean, I'm not gonna do it because I want to make sure to bring them up, but CD Projekt Red. Just want to bring that in there. But no, honestly, I don't think this is good for the company, and they're gonna continue to see it. Even if all the legal matters are solved and all that, one was wrong, the other one was right. No matter what, it's not gonna be good for the company.
I'm hearing this, and there's a bunch of threads that are unraveled, and I'm trying to decide which one I feel is the most important to address. So when I look at Blizzard, I think of a company that had a long time to build up a lot of goodwill with its fan base. The Warcraft series, Diablo series, StarCraft. I think World of Warcraft represents the height of that, because there were a lot of really satisfied people that played that game. That game turned into a phenomenon. And that was like the last of what I would say the golden era of Blizzard. And then you get into Overwatch, which I would say is like a silver age. Like Overwatch was good, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want to diminish it. I enjoyed it. Played it for like a year and 20. I enjoyed it a lot. I have my reasons for why I don't play it anymore, which I stated in the past on this show. I made sure of it. And now Blizzard is just there. You can tell that there's a lot. They're in decline, and I think the player base overall they're a lot more burned on the games than they are of these stories. Even the one that had to do with Hong Kong, and the reason for that is that I think we are hyper aware with how much information is coming in, and we all have different degrees of skepticism with those stories. And at the end of the day, we go, well, we don't really know. So how much of this is really going to inform our decision making? I'll tell you what will inform my decision making when they butcher Warcraft 3 remake or the remaster to the point where they use false advertising. They showed the cutscenes. We thought there was going to be all the cutscenes. It turns out it wasn't. And it's so much so that it even like diminished the quality of the game that was already out, thus mitigating value that people had spent prior to it. That, I mean, at the end of the day, as a game company, that's how you would truly burn your fans. All this other stuff is like it's unfortunate, but I don't see it being like a massive change in their overall demographic. It still comes down to the games in the same way that I think if people are fans of musicians and a musician does something controversial, your core base will still support you as long as they still support the music, as long as the music isn't what burns people. In regards to the lawsuit side of it, I'm trying to think of like what is the most. It's a balanced, compassionate, reasonable, rational approach to who do we believe, and my system, as I would refer to it as, the more the accuser stands to lose, the more I believe them. So if they walk away with a book deal, they walk away with a lot of national publicity, they get a settlement out of it. I see a lot of motives. I see a lot of gear spinning. Maybe they were wronged in some other way. Maybe they were burned on a few paychecks. Maybe they were mistreated, and so they still feel compelled to enact justice. But they know that sexual harassment is a much more sensitive subject, and it hits harder. So it's the ends justifies the means. But if now they're going to go to court and they're going to lose money on this, and they're going to fight and fight, and they're going to exhaust themselves and they're going to exhaust their family, that to me is my is how I would believe them. Is how I believe that their cause is just. The more you lose, the more I think you're telling the truth.
In that case, I do want to just throw it out there. There are times where people must necessarily settle when they don't necessarily want to. For example, if there's a countersuit going on, like in this case, let's say the attorney is like the plaintiff. The plaintiff is feeling that there is not a good chance to win, but the countersuit could also be bad against them. They might take a settlement just to make it easier for that way. That way the victim still comes out on top. Or sometimes the victim honestly just is in a pinch, and that settlement money might be worth more than seeing one more bad guy off the street. You know what I mean?
I would say too that the countersuit, I think, is a point in favor of Riot, because that to me says that they genuinely believe the CEO, and they're going to have the CEO's back on this. They're like, we're not going to stand for this. We're going to fight back. And so that does, I think, add a point to their credibility that they're willing to fight this.
Yeah.
And when it's stuff like this, and I hate to say it like this, but there's been so many great movements over the past few years. We saw the Me Too movement. We saw the Speaking Out movement. Those were great movements to help people in troubled situations finally speak out against their abusers, which was great. But when you have mass speak outs like that, unfortunately, there are cases where people will try to clout chase and will try to lie. I'm not saying don't believe the accusers. I'm just saying you also have to be skeptical of the situations. And in cases like this, like I said, innocent until proven guilty, but you also want to stand with the accuser. We're just going to have to see what happens in court. Obviously, we'll be updated on this story when it gets updated. It was last updated as of the 16th, which was a couple days ago. Once news comes out, trials and court hearings take a long period of time, so it could be months before we even figure out what's going on here.
Hey guys, this podcast is brought to you by Anchor. Have you heard of it? If you haven't, let me tell you guys, Anchor is an all-in-one platform to make your podcast. They have everything set up just for you. They've helped us out so many times, and they are the ones we are using to this day. Guys, Anchor has all the creative tools you need to get your podcast started, from your phone to your PC. You name it, they got it. And you can make money immediately with no minimum listenership needed. That sounds like a pretty good deal, but now you still have distribution. No, you don't. Anchor takes care of that for you. You could be heard on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and so many more. I don't know what you're waiting for. It's all in one platform made just for you. Anchor makes it easy. Jordan, where do I find this? Where do I go? Let me tell you. You can go to anchor.fm or download the Anchor app. That is Anchor, ANCHOR.FM, and download the Anchor app today. Thank you, Anchor, for sponsoring the podcast.
Well, on to the next one. A little bit happier. So, over the past couple days, there was something trending on Twitter, and it piqued my interest because, Jordan, you played Call of Duty competitively. You have, or you do, or you stream it quite a bit.
Yeah.
I'm a nostalgia fan. I've played every Call of Duty there was, except for the newer ones, because I've mostly stuck to other things. But I have played a lot of Call of Duties. Joseph, I'm not sure your Call of Duty experience, but I'm sure you've played at least one, right?
Yeah, I played a lot of the first one. Didn't play it through. I played through all of the Modern Warfare, the first one.
The first one. So, like, when they still had numbers in it, like Call of Duty.
Yeah, like I'm not super close to the series. I tend to use it as a not a foil, but I think Call of Duty represents a lot of good in the industry, but also represents a lot of my issues with it, which is the fact that it comes out with so many games so often.
Yeah.
Which is why I also didn't really get into sports games. So, overall, I would say it's a high quality series.
We could talk about that afterwards too, because I think me and you have a lot of the same opinions on stuff like that. But this tweet trended on Twitter for 3 days. People were answering to this tweet for 3 days. So the tweet goes as follows: everyone drop your, and it says first played Call of Duty, last played Call of Duty, best Call of Duty, and worst Call of Duty. I want to hear your gents. We'll start with first played Call of Duty. Go ahead, Joseph. You go first, since you were already on the last tangent.
Yeah, the original, first one that came out. Yeah, that's the first one I played.
Original Modern Warfare, or the very
very first Call of Duty. The world.
Okay, like
World War
original
II.
Xbox. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead, Jordan. Your very first Call of Duty you played.
Black Ops. Call of Duty Black
Okay.
Ops was very first.
All right. My very first one I played was Call of Duty 2: The Red Hour, or something like that, or
Good one.
whatever it was called. Original Xbox. I didn't have internet growing up, and so it was really cool being able to play that game because it had a great campaign, or at least for the time it had a great campaign.
Oh yeah.
And that's the thing I think that they've gotten away from. Granted, I haven't played the new ones, so I can't speak for it, but the campaign. The campaigns were good. Like, it was your basic World War II first-person shooter campaign, but there was nothing like it at the time.
Yeah.
It was a league of its own, and then all these other games come out. You had like Medal of Honor, you had other ones, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, so Joseph, the last Call of Duty you played.
That's the thing, is that there, if anything counts, where like I'm hanging out at a friend's house and Call of Duty happened to be on, I don't know, like I jumped into a multiplayer of it. This is maybe like 3.5 years ago, but I can't put my finger on which one.
Were you flying? Were you like super?
No,
jumping?
It wasn't the space one.
Okay. Then we can narrow it down. We can narrow it down a little bit.
Was it? Would you know if it was one of the Black Ops? What console was it on? Let's start with that.
Okay.
PS might have been actually PS3. Might have been that long ago. Yeah.
Okay, so we're probably talking. We're like Black Ops 2, Ghost, maybe.
I'm gonna say, I have
I can figure this out. Okay, so it depends on how well you guys know the zombies, but there was a zombies map that was like 1920s film noir based, and then there's an alien attack, and it all takes place in the city streets.
Black Ops 3.
Okay.
Black Ops. Okay,
No.
well, there you go.
Oh yeah. Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So that was the last one you played. That's actually funny because I went into.
Wait, oh my god! I was playing the battle royale. I was playing that like earlier this year.
Or was it
Warzone.
Warzone or Blackout?
Warzone. Yeah. I played Warzone for like 2 months. I completely forgot. Yeah, so Warzone.
Okay. We'll count that as a standalone. Mine was actually Black Ops 3. When I had Xbox One, I had Black Ops 3. And then I got rid of it. And then I haven't played Call of Duty since. All right, Jordan, your turn. What was the last one you played? I think we all know what it is.
The current one, yeah,
Cold War.
Yeah.
All right, Jordan, go ahead. What is the best Call of Duty in your opinion?
I'm gonna make some people mad, but it's also because this has kicked off my career to the point I am now. Black Ops 2 is the best Call of Duty in my opinion. But
that's actually hilarious because that is also my pick for best Call of Duty of all time.
Yeah.
That's one where I finally understood the not the importance, but like the significance of internet friends and stuff like that. Because we had a big group. We played Ascension was one of the first DLC zombies maps. We played Ascension until like 4 a.m. every weekend. Sometimes even on school nights. I didn't care.
Dude, transit mode. That was where me and my family, like everyone in my family, when we played zombies, like that would be the one that we do is transit mode. We never beat it, but it was fun.
And I think it adds extra points to it, just because of the way it made you feel. Because if you look past it, if you look at all the ones afterwards, you're in exosuits or you're jumping super high, and they really went away from their roots with that.
Yeah.
But with Black Ops 2, it was really, really good. What about you, Joseph? What's your what in your opinion the best Call of Duty?
Yeah, I'm the least versed in it, so I'm gonna have to go with a pretty popular pick here, which is the original Modern Warfare. From my perspective, we had been served World War II. I think one was like Vietnam before then, and then all of a sudden Modern Warfare, and it completely like revitalizes the series. And the story mode is still quite memorable. Like there's some not to spoil anything, but there's some stuff that happens in that's like impactful on a player's perspective about like the consequences of war. So it's certainly I would argue it's certainly the most pivotal of all of them, and it stands up to a lot of scrutiny.
I guess since we don't want to spoil a game that's 10 years old,
I mean, Citizen Kane, even that I'm like, I don't want to tell you about that. I have a very strict rule about spoilers. Let people live on their own terms.
Hey, you know what? That's fine. I won't spoil it. But that mission that you're referring to, which I think everybody knows, but that mission's actually they actually had to update the game, and you had an option whether or not to skip that mission because, like you said, there was just it wasn't for the weak of heart, that is for sure. I
know one that you're talking about that involves
remember.
A
No
public
Russian.
incident? Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. No, I'm talking about one that involves a very large explosion.
Oh, okay. I know which
Yeah.
one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was.
I was thinking what you guys were talking about. I'm like, I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, everything just kicked on. Went, oh, yeah. Yeah, no spoilers here. If the game's $20, go buy it.
I will say, and they remade the game too for cheap too. You can play, for on next gen consoles or current gen consoles, whatever gen consoles we're on now.
Yeah, think about it. Any game is up for remake, so in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, it really is.
I will say on a little personal note, as someone who was in the military, I can say I am thankful I didn't have to go through anything that was potentially life changing, or at least life changing for me. Anything that I did get into, I came out the other side. Keep it going.
Good.
How's it? Whatever. But we're all good. And we're on the last question. Jordan, I want you to go first on this one.
Okay.
The worst Call of Duty of all time.
That's a tie. That's a tie because there are two that were made almost back to back: Infinite Warfare and Advanced Warfare.
Okay. Again, I'm not even gonna put on a show for this. Mine's the exact same answers.
So this is the reason why it's tied, because you have Advanced Warfare. The reason that happened is because Call of Duty was trying something new. Activision was trying to do something new. Destiny started blowing up. They're like, okay, let's try. Maybe that's where people want to go to. They tried something new. But then Black Ops 3 came out, and they narrowed down the exoskeletons a little bit more, made it a little bit better. And then you have Advanced Warfare, and they just copied and pasted the same thing. And I understand AAA games, they copy and paste, but they didn't learn from the first 2 times they did it, and they made a third one. So it's like, a part of me wants to give it to Advanced Warfare because that was really just so broken. No matter how many patch updates they did, it was still broken. But Infinite Warfare, though, they had the chance. They should have tried harder, and they just didn't. But yeah, those are my two. Just, ugh. I just don't.
I 100% agree with you. If I had a tie, those would be my two first as well. I will give the benefit out to Advanced Warfare. It came first, like you said. They're trying something new.
Yeah.
They tried something new, doesn't work. Hey, you know what? How's it going? Keep it moving. All good. Infinite Warfare, I think, has to take the cake for worst because it was basically a different version of Advanced Warfare, but they didn't learn their lesson. They're like, obviously the people didn't know what they wanted. We're gonna give them this because it's gonna be so much better.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be an upgraded version of that. What could go wrong? And then obviously it becomes the worst selling Call of Duty of all time, and still has, I think, the most disliked video on YouTube. If not, it was recently broken by 2 years ago's YouTube Rewind because everyone thought it was cool to dislike the YouTube Rewind, which I was a part of that gang. What's up? What about you, Joseph? Mind you, this is the ones that you played. This isn't. You don't have to agree with us because if you haven't played any of the newer ones, obviously you don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I'll have to defer to the majority on this one, but I did hear that like World at War, like the Vietnam one, was also pretty bad. Like it was the hardest difficulty was completely unfair. Like they would throw a grenade at you every 2 seconds. I remember that one being a particular sore spot.
Is it World at War or World War II? Because those are two games. World at War was the first one that had zombies.
I'm thinking it's 2.
World War II came out a couple years ago.
I'm thinking
It's supposed to take place in Vietnam.
That would be Cold. No,
not
that
Cold
would be.
War.
No, not Cold War. I like to play. It's in the name, Architect. You idiot. No, Vietnam. I'm trying to think. I think you're in Vietnam for Black Ops 2.
Okay, because what I remember was there was an iteration that was their first return to World War II after not having been there for a while, and I could swear that a lot of that took place in Vietnam. Maybe not the whole thing, but yeah.
Okay, so
I don't want to spend too much time pontificating about this.
Yeah,
I
think I think the one you're talking about is World War II.
I think
that's
so.
the one.
Yeah, I think so.
That's the one. I think your discrepancy sounds familiar to what was coming out at that time. So, yeah,
I will say
I'd
though,
those are-
I of all the Call of Duties, one of the ones I would have been the most excited to play was the space one, just to not only to try something new within Call of Duty, but to just play something new altogether. Just
and
like
that's
space
why everyone is
astronaut
excited about.
warfare. Yeah.
That's why everyone is excited about Advanced Warfare. That's why it pre-sold wonderfully.
Yeah.
Which is going to lead into our all-timer segment. Keep that in mind.
Mhm.
So it pre-sold wonderfully. People played it, didn't like it. It's fine. Wasn't people's cup of tea. I'm sure. Just like with everything that a mass majority of people hate, there are some people who love it. Some things become cult classics for a reason. But when they turned around and tried it again, just to try to prove to the people that they could do it right, and they didn't. That's where the issue comes from. So we answered that question. That now, mind you, that came from a tweet that trended 3 days on Twitter, which is pretty hard to do. Usually, because there's a lot of new stuff, especially over the past year, politics and the global pandemic and all that going on. There've been
What pandemic?
It's been hard to stay trending. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you live in Texas, there is no pandemic, so
Not
that's
anymore.
pretty cool. Yeah,
Not
that's
anymore.
pretty cool. Good news is, I'm getting me and my wife signed up for our vaccines as soon as because Uncle Joe decided that on May 1st everyone could get them. And at this point, they can inject me with horse semen. I don't care what they put in me. Just let me be normal. Let me go back to normal life.
I agree. I want it just because, and we're going to get into the next segment, but I just want it just so I can say, I got it. So there's no more. I'm afraid to post pictures in public. I really am at this point because I get people blowing up like, yeah, you're not taking this seriously. I'm not walking in Walmart with a mask on my forehead like a nartard, you know. I'm actually wearing it properly. I'm hand sanitizer, you know. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Oh, see, on a scale of 1 to care, I don't on what people think. I wear my mask when I go out in public because I'm a good little boy, and that's the whole reason why I want a vaccine. I'm like, listen, if Dr. Fauci says that if 70% of us get vaccinated, that we go back to normal life, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
Count me in. Inject me with, Bill Gates micro robots or whatever it is nowadays that people are saying they're injecting you with. Just do it. Just get it over with. Hope it's a bomb. Take me out.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Just tap it in, boys.
On to the kind of lead back into the what me and Joseph were talking about. Call of Duty overall is one of the more popular game series. It's lost a lot of steam. It used to be one of the old. It used to be like outside of Korea, because Korea you had like the StarCraft series and stuff like that. That was huge. They've had esports for a long, long time. Even the fighting game community, the FGC, they've had an esports scene for a while, but it's been mostly under wraps until Evo. I think it's called Evo, right? Is like became known for being one of the biggest tournaments and stuff like that. But Call of Duty became really the first game in North America to really put esports on the map. That's where people found out about FaZe Clan, right? You saw all those people trying to do spinning 360 no scope YY fakes off of Nuketown houses. Yeah, we were all there. You that crappy kid putting Cheeto dust all over the good controller because you want to join FaZe Clan. Hey, that was me. That was you. Don't even deny it. Anyway, then they went on this model of releasing a new Call of Duty every year and then trying to sell microtransactions every year. We talked about microtransactions last episode. It's just a cheap way to get people to put money into your game so that way you could, pocket some money. Which is fine. I have no problem with microtransactions as long as it's all cosmetic. We've had this discussion, I think, 1,000 times now. But Call of Duty right now is starting to follow the sports game trend. If you look at like NBA 2K21, look at EA Sports FIFA, which we talked about last episode. Great little story. Check it out. If you look at Madden from EA Sports, if you check out the wrestling games, they've all are the same game every year after year. But
Yeah, I don't know about
they have
starting. I think this trend's been going on for at least like a
yeah.
solid 10 years.
I say starting because some licenses have swapped back and forth between like I know EA used to have the basketball license for NBA, but now it's 2K, so on and so forth. 2K really came to its own as a sports game company within the past 10-ish years. But it's the same game every year except with a fancy new roster update and a pretty new athlete on the cover. Outside of that, though, it's like I said, same game. And Call of Duty's following that model. They're putting different skins on characters and guns and the maps, but it's the same game. Jordan, can you tell me one significant gameplay difference between Cold War and Modern Warfare was the last one?
Yeah.
Like, if you get pumped into a random multiplayer game, can you tell me a big difference in the actual style of gameplay?
Like the style of gameplay, like the feel, or the I mean, honestly, dude, no. There's a little bit of a feel to it, but there's not much of a difference, because Modern Warfare really tried to make it seem like a real life situation, like you're running and all that. Same thing with the other one. You could play one and then immediately switch to the other. The only thing is you're just gonna have to feel the guns out. Besides that, there's really no play style difference.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And you know what? It's the pot calling the kettle black. You guys know I'm a huge Counter-Strike mark. And you know what? 1.6, Counter-Strike Source, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, they're the same game, just with better graphics each time. I'm not gonna sit here and I'm not trying to crap on Jordan's MO here. I'm the same way. My game's the same way. But it's just something that we've become accustomed to. Counter-Strike hasn't released a game in over almost 10 years now. So that's where there's a difference, is they're not trying to sell you a new game every year and say it's something it's not. Whereas Call of Duty or the sports games and other developers are just releasing the same game every year. And and here's the thing. They're going to keep doing it because people just eat it up. Nom, 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 nom. They do. And you know what? If that's what they want, I can't tell someone not to spend their money, but you're gonna have to hurt them in their wallet if you want something to change.
I'm gonna make 2 points here because there's a couple of threads that unraveled, and luckily none of the same threads that had to do with the sexual harassment lawsuit. So that's a relief. But when I think I think about somebody in particular, I don't want to like call them out or anything like that, but I know somebody in particular who is very much like the target market for the Call of Duty series, to buy it every year and even justify his purchase of a console. And he has his familial obligations. He has pretty routine work, working in the trades. And when you get into a lifestyle like that, a lot of life starts to feel kind of similar. And so Call of Duty, while to us gamers, it might start to seem redundant a year after year, when that's actually one of the few things that changes in a person's lifestyle. It's actually the changes that are there are more significant. It does add a new story. It does always try to tell a new story. It's change around the maps, change around the zombie modes. Like the differences are more noticeable the more dialed in they are to it. The other point that I want to make about Call of Duty is that I feel like there are certain series that are codependent with their popularity. Like some games can actually do better if there is more of a cult following, there's more of a niche, and people are more like really invested into it. But Call of Duty, I feel, is one of those game series where it works because it's popular. Like Fortnite works because it's popular, and I'm not bothered by that. I used to be bothered by this kind of thing, where I remember I was getting back into comedy, and everybody loved Dane Cook. He was very popular because he knew how to use the internet to his advantage, and I didn't like him at first because I felt like he was taking the spotlight away from more niche and more specific performers. Then I realized, well, you know what? You do need things to be big and popular to draw a large audience in, to start developing taste. And some people, they get into it. Some people, they start to desire something a little bit different. And so they feel, well, what other shooters are there? What other war games out there? And then, I don't know, maybe they end up in Medal of Honor, or that one where the person, Homefront or something like that. So overall, I think it has an important role to play in the marketplace. As for the annualization thing, I think that's just like a sign that the business model had to. Sorry, let me try this again. So when you look at sports games, the annualization is important because it needs to reflect what's going on in reality. I would love to see a more modular take on it, maybe in the next console cycle, where you buy your FIFA or whatever, and it just like updates and patches as time goes on.
I completely disagree with the business model going towards the annualization. Not that I'm not disagreeing with your point, because that is the model. That is what they're doing. I disagree with the fact that it has become the model. I feel companies would make way more money. Let's say Call of Duty, for instance. Let's say Call of Duty came out once every 2 years. You know how much extra money they would get out of microtransactions or season passes, because people would feel like, well, I have this game for 2 years, might as well put some money into it. Because I'm not saying people aren't going to put money into it now, but I'm saying if people had more time, they'd be more willing to put the money into it, because it's almost like a long-term investment rather
Right,
than.
because you're saying too that people might be more reluctant to spend money on something when they know it's only going to be popular for the year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like let's say people buy it day one, they're more likely to spend money on microtransactions or put more money into the season pass or like that, because they have more time with it. Whereas you get people who get it on Christmas, or you get people who get it like for their birthday or some, for some instance where they don't get to have it for a full calendar year, they might be reluctant to want to buy stuff or even be able to buy stuff for the game. Because you have to remember, a lot of these people who wait for these games past day one release are most likely children. So that's another big thing. If this game comes out more, like it comes out every couple of years, children are more likely to have success begging their parents for money to spend on the game, rather than, well, why would I spend money on this game when I'm going to drop $60 on your new game in a month? Like, you know what I mean?
My counterpoint to that, it comes back to target market, where I think Call of Duty appeals to people more the less games that they play. So you have somebody who might buy a PlayStation 4 and they legitimately just play Call of Duty. So to them, whatever products are being offered, they're playing it for the year. They're getting the most amount of value possible out of anybody. Now, I will say, overall, I don't like annualization. And I think they've tried to use annualization in other game series to disastrous results, like Assassin's Creed. That's a series I did not want to get into because they were annualizing it. Now, there's a game where you really want to see them take their time and make a significant impact every time one of them comes out. So for that game to be annualized, I just don't get it. But seriously, people were buying it, people were into it, so it shows what I know, I guess.
Yeah, and with the sports games, again, same thing. I feel if they just came out a game called NBA 2K or EA Sports FIFA or EA Sports Madden, didn't put a year on it, and then just updated it, at the trade deadline that happens in the middle of the season, update it for all releases, trades, and all that. Update at the end of the year, and then update at the beginning of the year, and so on and so forth, until you decide that you want to add like a new career mode, or you come up with this new game mode, and then either A, just make it a paid update if you want to make money off of it, because I would be less opposed to a paid DLC rather than having to buy a whole new game just for a fancy roster update.
And that kind of disposability is one of the worst things about the games industry. The idea that somebody can own a game that will have no value in a year, like especially specifically with sports games. So somebody can't go to the EV games and trade these in because they're worth pennies.
Yeah,
they're worth they no longer exist.
Oh yeah, they'll be. Let's say, like, hypothetically, again, I'm a pot calling the kettle black. I bought NBA 2K21. I bought it. Luckily it was on sale, but for the sake of the story, I'm gonna say I bought it sale price $60, right? The second I bought it, and the second it's a day past day one or whatever like that, the game's already down its value. If I were to try to sell it. And then by the time, let's say, NBA 2K22 comes out, I want to sell this game. And I was like, whatever money I get, I'll put towards a new one. I'm going to get like $10 for it, if I'm lucky. And that's if I go to an establishment, like a reputable establishment or anything like that.
I will say one last thing for me, which at least with Call of Duty, I can go pick up anyone in the series, and at least there's a story mode. And if I buy it on the console, at least there's local multiplayer. So the value diminishes, but I think the pressure to buy it new each year is almost like a subscription service in kind, or I'm subscribed to the Call of Duty multiplayer, and as a bonus every year, I get some extra maps to play with my friends, and I get a new story mode. Now, Jordan is the most invested in Call of Duty, and I said the least so far, so I feel like you should really have at it.
I kind of set the leads because you guys are nailing, I mean, all the big points, really, when it's all said and done. I mean, Call of Duty franchise, I mean, as it goes right now, I don't see it ending anytime soon. They're not gone. I feel like what they're doing right now is working. You have, because the battle passes. Originally, the battle pass you had to pay for. Now, if you get the free battle pass once you play, I think it's a total of like 90 game hours or 60 game hours in it. It gets to the end, and then you unlock everything you couldn't unlock, or you could buy to unlock it all. So they give you the way out and in, but I mean, they're making it to where if you buy the game, you can continue to go out and you can earn COD points, so you don't have to buy COD points anymore. And with the new Call of Duty, you can now sit there, stuff from Modern Warfare and Cold War is combined. If you buy a DLC for Cold War, it's going to work the same with Modern Warfare, also known as Warzone as well. So I mean, right now I feel like they're doing fine.
I have a major bias against Call of Duty, mostly because when I was in the military, when I was stationed in Japan for a bit, I was doing some of my online college classes along with working, so I was busy. You know what I mean? And I respected my sleep. At that point in my life, I think sleep was the most desired thing in my life.
Yeah.
And I had a roommate in Japan, and all he did was play Call of Duty. And he wasn't like your typical just relaxed dude. He was a full-on neckbeard gamer.
Ugh.
He was the gamer that you guys all know I'm talking about. Well, you probably all know one, or you are probably that gamer. I'm talking the dude who has controller in hand, who has a little scruff right here but nowhere else. I mean, we were in the military, we weren't allowed to had to have scruff, but for the sake of the story, he had the neck beard. He would like, oh gosh darn it, and throw his controller, just start pounding the thing. I don't want to pound too hard because my popper is sleeping. But he's just...
Yeah, that guy who just like rages over the littlest of things, doesn't walk away, he goes, ah! Picks up the controller and gets back to it.
You know, they're just and they're also naturally racist, so that also
sexist, racist, not clean.
No,
they're no.
This dude. All right, Kat, do you guys want to hear a funny Japan story?
Well, I thought we were already in one, so go ahead.
Oh no, that wasn't that was just my story as to why I have this secret hatred of Call of Duty.
Okay.
So again, I was doing online classes and work when I was stationed in Japan. I'm dead tired. It's the middle of the night. My roommate comes in. He is drunker than a skunk.
Okay.
Never understood that reference. I've never seen skunks at bars. Whatever. So he's drunker than a skunk. Comes in. He's like, "Hey Crawford, I gotta piss." And I'm like, "Cool, bro." And then the trash can's at the foot of my bed. So the way the rooms are set up in Japan, so it's bed this way and then one this way. And then this is the living area. The trash and fridge and stuff like that was right here. He walked to the trash can, turned sideways, faced my bed, and just peed all over the front of my bed. And on the floor and all that.
Oof.
And I'm just like, "Dude, what are you doing?" He goes, "Ugh." And then he walks and then falls right on his bed.
Okay, so for audio listeners, kind of describe how it is. You walk in a room and then you have your two beds, right?
So you walk into the room. Immediately to your right, you see a fridge, a microwave, and then the trash can.
Okay.
And then a little bit past that's my bed facing you,
as you're walking.
The foot of the bed, the foot of the bed facing you.
Okay.
Directly to your left is the second bed, facing sideways.
Okay.
And there's no wall in between you two.
There's no wall. This is just
Okay.
one open flat.
My
It's like
my
a
eyes are
one,
shut 'cause I'm just painting
Yeah,
a picture with my mind.
it's one flat that it's called a barracks room. It's like just imagine like a cheap, crappy 2-person dorm.
Okay.
That's the best way to describe it.
Were you
Anywhere in
rooming
New
with
York.
somebody else? I hate to castigate the standards of the military or anything like that, but was that other guy in the military, or was it just you were just rooming?
Yeah,
with
no. We were all military. We were all military.
Okay.
They don't allow civilians in
Just
the
start
barracks.
giving
Yeah.
up to random
or
civilians
like
as
you, for
well.
some reason you had to like I don't know, just like living in an apartment or something
No,
like
no,
that.
no, no.
I didn't know.
These were the actual barracks on base
Okay.
with other Marines, some sailors. But yeah, so there's that, and then I have a ton of humorous stories. Maybe I'll have to make a segment out of it. But speaking of my favorite segments, I think it's time for all-timer.
Yeah.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is where we talk about our all-timer least or favorite things, and this week we have a good one. Your all-timer weirdest / worst pre-order gifts.
Wait, pre-ordered. Ooh.
Yeah, so when you pre-order a game, usually you get something special with it, right?
Yeah. Oh, this one's. Can I use one that I got, but was it mine? No.
Sure.
Because I've only ordered a few like pre-order things, and I don't regret any of them.
Okay.
Actually, no. I think I might be able to scrounge one up. Joseph, do you need some time?
I don't have. I've never had anything weird out of my pre-orders. I can tell you what was the worst pre-order that I regret the most.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, do that.
Okay, so runner-up, Age of Empires 3, and now number one is Guild Wars 2. A large box. I guess if you take like 4 of the original Xboxes and stack them up, it's about that size of a box, and it had a figure of a Char, which are these bipedal cat-like creatures.
Okay.
And the thing was, I loved Guild Wars 1. That was one of my favorite online RPGs. Some of the best time that I had playing a game. Had a great community, a lot of laughs, pretty decent PvP. We were top 100 for a while, so like I have very, very good feelings about Guild Wars. So Guild Wars 2, I was super excited. I booked a day off work just to do like a day in the beta, and I remember carrying this huge lugging this huge thing home for like an hour and a half trip on the bus, and kind of like during busy times, so I'm kind of like bumping into people. Oh, sorry, that's my box. That's my Guild Wars 2 box. And the game, like, I don't know, like it held my attention for like 2 weeks, and then I just like meh, blah. So I've held on to that box. That box it's gone now, but I use that as storage for many years.
Hey, it's
All
still
right.
making do at least, so you know it's doing something.
All right, Jordan, your turn. Your either weirdest or worst pre-order gift from when you pre-ordered a game.
So this was a weird experience because it wasn't mine, but it was mine. So Activision, every year new Call of Duty comes out, they send it to a bunch of creators and stuff like that, or pro Call of Duty players. And so it was Black Ops 4, and I even have the bundle back here. They sat there and said, hey, you know, if you want to get like all the special stuff, you know, we can't cover that. You would have to pay the extra for it. So yeah, I paid the extra $40 to get it. And so I got it in late, for one. The game was already out to everyone else. I got it late. And they also sent me a download code. I was like, why send me both of them? So I got the download code, downloaded everything, got to play the game. My disc set comes in, and it's okay, cool, I get it. I open it up. It's for some guy named Ronnie. It was made for another person named Ronnie, and I'm like, they asked me about this. They told me about this. So I was like, I wonder if Ronnie got mine. I want to connect with this Ronnie guy now.
That or just Ronnie got straight up gypped.
Yeah, that could be the case. Ronnie's like, where's my package? But yeah, because they were supposed to like have these like little things inside for us, and so yeah, it was like I got one that said Ronnie, and I'm like, this isn't mine, but it's mine because it's my pack. Like, it's mine. I ordered it. I got it. It just wasn't my name. It wasn't my last name, but the package said Jordan Mole on it. But inside, it was not. So I don't want anyone to immediately get in the comments going, oh, you're stealing people's packages. Nah, okay. It was a mess up that I couldn't control. But yeah, it was a weird experience. But the biggest weird side is they sent me 2 games. They sent me the digital, and then they sent me the physical. And I'm like, okay, awesome. Why? Because what am I supposed to do? I have 2 discs now, one for the special one for the special version of it, and then the other one I just bought because I wanted to give it out to one of my family members, but they bought it, so I have never touched a disc. But we got a bunch of cool patches though. But yeah, it was a weird experience because it was mine, but it wasn't mine. It was a mess up on their end, but that was, I mean, I don't pre-order a lot of things. There's Halo coming up. I'll pre-order that. What about you, James?
So I'm in the same boat. I don't pre-order a lot of things, and when I do it digitally. So it's just like, oh, you get this extra character, or you get this extra set of in-game currency, or whatever like that. I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I'm gonna use my best friend's pre-order.
Okay.
And I'm gonna use it as my story. So for the sake of story and for the sake of entertainment, it's me. So on the PS3, I had pre-ordered Infamous 2, I believe it was. And for those of you that don't know, there was a special pre-order bonus for Infamous 2. It was a glow-in-the-dark condom. It was called, because the game was called Second Son or something like that, so I think that had to play into it. I don't know, I didn't play the game. But that was part of the pre-order bonus. There was other things too.
What was the name
think
of
there
this?
was like Infamous. Here, let me look it up to make sure I have it right. I believe that's what he pre-ordered to get it. So
the good guy path or the bad guy path?
Yep, it's Infamous Second Son was a pre-order bonus. There was fluorescent condoms, sorry.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
So he had pre-ordered that. He had shown me the condom, and obviously he did not use it because he was like 17 or something like that at the time. I don't remember what age we were. This was before I was in the military though, because I think it was for the PS3.
Okay.
So yeah, that was pretty weird. I think the weirdest one that I personally actually got though was just I unlocked a character for a wrestling game that sucked absolute butthole.
Yeah. I mean,
and then I pre-ordered this kitty, and then this kitty came in.
Okay, you
and
did
she
not
decided to
pre-order
ruin...
the cat. You did not. Don't lie to the fan, guys. He's lying about his story, and now he's lying about the cat. You can't trust the architect.
I'm just a. Yeah. He's a big fat phony. Speaking of being phonies, I think it's time we sell out. What do you guys think?
I mean, I guess so.
All right.
I'm all about it.
Yeah, all right, Joseph. Why don't you sell us out real quick, or sell yourself out to us? Sorry.
Heck yeah. Thanks as always for having me here, guys. I'm also the host of an e-commerce podcast called Ecomonics. That is ECOMONICS. We put new episodes out 3 times a week, and they are not only a lot of fun, but highly informative. My brain has been a sponge this last year, just taking in so much great information. And as it starts to sink in, I really start to feel like I have a lot more opportunity to shape my life the way I see fit. Mm-hmm. And it's an honor to be able to impart that onto others. So check it out. You'd be surprised what you're capable of if you apply yourself in e-commerce.
And from an outsider, I would definitely say this the knowledge I've been able to learn from a lot of people's podcasts and then versus like Joseph's podcast, it's definitely the way everything is pronounced really helps you understand it to the normal person. Because I will say, if you read a business book, you're gonna put it down after page 5. It's not gonna be there. Versus like Joseph's W5 podcast, you actually can retain the knowledge. I think I'm using that word right.
Yep.
But yeah, I highly recommend it. And I'm not a business, I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd that does this, so yeah, highly recommend.
Saving money was a big thing for me because I did not know how to do it when I was young and stupid. I am in the position I am now because of stuff like that. And I will say, listening to Dave Ramsey and taking his advice to that was so much easier than trying to read his book.
Yeah.
So hearing someone actually go through it and kind of break it down a little bit, and plus you have so many amazing guests, me included. You have so many amazing guests on there. Yeah, you're definitely gonna get the knowledge that you're looking for, and they're not too extremely long. Joseph does an amazing job. When he used to edit them, he did an amazing job clipping them down, and now the new editors also doing an amazing job with it. So props to them. But James,
I didn't have that rollback.
Yeah, it's weird because it still feels like you edit them, but there's just tiny parts I'm like, wait, he doesn't. But you set like an example, so that's still pretty cool. Like they have to go off of what you said, so it's pretty cool. But then James, I think now it's your time to take it. Oh, I should promote myself. Hey guys. If you wanna watch me, that's right, just me, Skull Hunter Games on YouTube. That's right. You get my funny self. We make good videos. Every Tuesday we play Counter-Strike with the architect. Little Four Eyes over there. And yeah, it's a ton of fun. Usually the day this comes out. And Facebook gaming as well. Skull Hunter Games. We play Dead by Daylight because no one else wants to see anything else original, so we play Dead by Daylight over there. Yeah, go ahead and follow me. And then we got James. Go sell yourself out.
All right, I will. I'm the Crawdaddy on Twitter. As he said, I play video game with him on Tuesday on Skull Hunter Games YouTube. Word TBD on the Architect's YouTube channel. TBD. That'll be a fun announcement. Can't wait. We want to thank. Actually, you know what? If this is my sellout time, I'm going to sell out my sponsor. Please go to EZY.com. It's a CSGO case opening site. Use code ARCHITECT. Get a free 50 cents whenever you deposit your money. Users in Sweden will not be able to use the website. Something with the government out there doesn't allow stuff like that to happen. But most other places should allow you to. So, deposit money. You can open cases. Case odds are way better on the site than they are in the Counter-Strike game. It's great. Plus, I get a little kickback from every time you use my code, which really helps. So, that's pretty cool. And you know what else is cool? Being sponsored by Anchor. That's right.
Hang on, fans. Hang on. The cat just pulled something down from James's shelf. I noticed that. And the clip. I noticed that in the glimpse of my eye. I wanted to steal the Anchor ad from James, and I noticed the cat was being a devil.
He's doing it again. He's about to knock your link out. Was that your link? Was that the Breath of the Wild link?
That's Breath of the Wild link. Even Hyrule's greatest warrior has no chance.
Thank you, Anchor, for sponsoring the podcast. Oh, James.
Do you want to do it? Go ahead, do it.
You know what? Sure. Thank you, Anchor, for sponsoring the podcast. Hey, guys, have you ever wanted to start a podcast but you didn't know how to do it? You're worried about, the distribution, the listeners you need to get money immediately? No worries. Anchor has you covered, guys. They got everything from the editing tools. They got anything from the editing tools down to the money making. That's right. You need no minimum listenership needed, and you do it all from your phone or computer. You can record it right there on the spot to a week later. You can even schedule your posts. Everything you need is right into Anchor. No minimum listenership to get paid immediately, and no absolutely no work on distribution. They take care of it for you guys. So make sure you go to the Anchor app, download Anchor. That is ANCHOR.FM, or go to the website. I mean, that's totally up to you, however you want to do it. But really, guys, thank you, Anchor, for sponsoring the podcast. Also, if you're a Fortnite player, use code SkullHunterGames.
Oh, so this is just the sellout podcast.
This is the sellout podcast now. But no, really, guys.
Right.
Thank you, Anchor, for sponsoring the podcast.
On to that. Thank you for sponsoring the podcast. Thank you, Joseph, for joining us. As always, you're such a beautiful guest. And we will thank you guys for listening. This episode will probably be out on Tuesday, like every the other ones. We should be back at our normal schedule now that we're all done moving and there's no more natural disasters, and hopefully nobody else has to die.
We all have to die.
Oh yeah, eventually we're all gonna die. If you're a kid, I'm sorry you have to hear that. Just ask your mom. Just ask your parents about the inevitability of death. All right, I'm sure that'll be a great conversation. On that note, thank you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
So it's the Infamous 2 Collector's Edition on eBay.